Welcome to Exam Sale. In this video we will walk through the syllabus for the Microsoft exam designing Microsoft Azure Infrastructure Solutions in a clear, practical way. This exam covers 4 domains with specific weights and focus areas you must master. The domains are: Design Infrastructure Solutions at 30%, Design Identity, Governance, and Monitoring Solutions at 30%, Design Data Storage Solutions at 25%, and Design Business Continuity Solutions at 15%. Each domain includes topics, difficulty, estimated learning time, and assessment style that you should use to plan your study. The first domain is Design Infrastructure Solutions and it carries 30% of the exam weight. Its focus is architecting core compute, network, and application delivery structures to meet scalability and performance requirements. Difficulty is hard. Estimated learning time is 35 hours, and the assessment type is scenario-based. You will learn to choose a compute provisioning framework, design batch processing with Azure Batch, select container orchestration approaches, design serverless solutions with Azure Functions, plan IaaS virtual machines and PaaS app service deployments, and evaluate compute consumption models, while also designing network connectivity, express route and VPN integrations, Azure DNS name resolution, private access to services, application delivery with Azure Front Door and Application Gateway, and network security with NSGs and Azure Firewall, plus application architecture patterns such as message-based and event-driven designs, API management, caching and CDN strategies, CI/CD automation, and microservices considerations. The second domain is Design Identity, Governance, and Monitoring Solutions and it also carries 30% of the exam weight. Its focus is creating secure and compliant environments through identity management, policy enforcement, and proactive observability. Difficulty is medium. Estimated learning time is 25 hours, and the assessment type is scenario-based. In this domain you will design Microsoft Entra ID solutions including external identities and B2B or B2C scenarios, plan conditional access and multi-factor authentication, use managed identities, service principals and privileged identity management, integrate hybrid identity, and implement role-based access control, while also designing governance using Azure policy sets, blueprints, landing zones, management group hierarchies, resource tagging and naming standards, cost management practices and inventory with resource graph, plus observability using Azure Monitor, log analytics, application insights, VM insights, activity and diagnostic logs, alerting and automated remediation, and integration with Microsoft Sentinel. The third domain is Design Data Storage Solutions and it is weighted at 25%. Its focus is evaluating and selecting appropriate relational and non-relational data services for performance, scale, and security. Difficulty is hard. Estimated learning time is 30 hours, and the assessment type is conceptual plus scenario-based. You will learn to design relational data solutions including Azure SQL database performance tiers, Azure SQL managed instance, and SQL Server on Azure VMs with scalability and high availability, and to design data security, encryption, auditing and masking. You will also design non-relational solutions with Azure Cosmos DB APIs and consistency models, Azure Storage Accounts for blob, file, queue and table, Azure Data Lake Storage Gen 2, partitioning and sharding strategies, redundancy options such as LRS, GRS and ZRS, and tiering for hot, cool and archive storage. Finally you will cover data integration patterns with Azure Data Factory pipelines, Azure Synapse Analytics, Azure Databricks, streaming with Azure Stream Analytics, and recommended data movement and transformation approaches. The fourth domain is Design Business Continuity Solutions and it makes up 15% of the exam. Its focus is developing resilient architectures that ensure data protection and minimize downtime during outages. Difficulty is medium. Estimated learning time is 15 hours, and the assessment type is hands-on plus conceptual. You will design backup and disaster recovery using Azure Backup and Azure Site Recovery, define recovery point objectives and recovery time objectives, plan cross-region disaster recovery and backup retention policies, recommend geo redundancy for data workloads, and design high availability using availability sets and availability zones, load balancer and traffic manager, global failover strategies, stateless versus stateful recovery approaches, and evaluates law requirements for multi-tier applications. To prepare effectively, follow the estimated learning times, which total 105 hours across all domains, and practice scenario-based and hands-on tasks for the harder areas. Focus first on the 30% domains for infrastructure and identity, then on data storage and business continuity, and use the topic lists in each domain to build a step-by-step study plan. Good luck with your preparation for designing Microsoft Azure infrastructure solutions, and keep checking practical labs and scenario exercises to solidify your skills.